psychologists have deliberately pushed into me, suggested, wanted for me to become part of those abnormalities. That is the difference, is that I was not the only difference. How I managed to avoid that, of what Mr. Howard Dooley had become, that was the reason how and why I have managed. However, the difference alone between the two procedures is that lobotomy is one-time procedure. Once it's done, you're dead, and that is what you are. And if you're not dead, then you should commit death. Because I don't see the reason why would you want to be alive or want to recuperate yourself after such a malicious, gangster, criminal act was conducted against you, to basically place you below the person, below the child, completely erase you. Completely erase you. I mean, you, after all, fight in life to exist. And then just with one snap like this, somebody simply destroys you, puts you below the level of anybody, of any living being. I don't see the purpose in trying to recuperate from maliciousness for such a crime, regardless of whatever recuperation or whatever is offered afterwards. Regardless, there is absolutely no reason to award criminals with your own existence. There is absolutely no reason. What have taken against me, it's, I will describe to you the best as you take what is a, I don't know, 16-wheeler truck, huge truck, and you put your head down, and that truck goes right on the top of your head. And it goes like this years with enormous pressure in your head as you fight without the job, and you continually going, fighting, or going basically what is against the current. Against the thousands of people who are laughing to you in your face, asking you if you hear any voices in your head, and wishing you good luck upon declining your applications or jobs. That is the only difference between lobotomy and between what have taken place against me. There are people who are born with a cancer, and there are people like myself who are deliberately screwed, destroyed, ruined. Ruined people. People who live life worse than people who are cancer patients. So, the perversions, the ideas of the maniacs, of the psychopaths, psychiatrists and psychologists can be actually satisfied and fulfilled. That is basically the only difference between lobotomy and between what have taken place against me. Don't forget, first I was completely dignified, taken away from, it was detached from me, everything. The right to even think, to discern between black and white, the right to have any preferences or anything. Yeah, that was the first thing. And then the second thing, as this criminals on that operation table have exclaimed, you will come back to me. And even that I have complied with perversions, with anything they wanted me to comply with, they would start to decline the jobs. Gradual, more and more prolonged unemployments, forceful unemployments, terrorism, terror. This is the real terrorism, because that means to terrorize person. That is the fucking terrorism. That is the real definition of the terrorism. So I don't want people to talk about Al-Qaeda. I don't want people to talk about this when we have the governments, folks, that are literally terrorizing us. They are taking away from us the right to be alive. They are taking away from us lives. Kids, wives. Definition of terror. That is the definition of terror. Can be any other better definition of terror than that. That cannot be better definition of terror than what I have just stated right now. It's amazing. It's amazing. And you would never think of that the doctors, the police officers would be people. And I'm not saying about all the police officers. I have met a lot of police officers and a lot of people who were on my side, who have actually turned severely against the system, who have turned their backs to the system, who have accused the system, who have condemned the system for things that were taking place against me. Yet the system has the razors. What good is it to award Mr. Ahtisaari or Obama or whoever for some kind of a human rights Nobel Prize, hundreds of millions of dollars for the publishing book, when I have written 100 times better books and real books, and have my life on the edge, I'm carrying my head, don't know when somebody's going to go and whack me, simply because from what I'm saying is true. I don't even know if I'm going to have money until tomorrow, and these people are battling in the money. This is actually democracy. This is actually reality we live in. And I don't know how or when people are going to start to get awake. When are they going to wake up and start seeing what is going on? How do we determine racial preferences? How do we create our illusion about the world? What we like, what we don't like? It's according to our genetics. It's according to what we were created. If I was created the way I am, then it is completely rational that I have already inherited certain features, certain things. It's completely rational. It's a natural way. Everything else was afterwards done in the school or during the education process, which might have taken place in the school and as well at the home settings, so known as environment. And in other words, by going after people afterwards and try to turn them into things that they are not, try to compel them into things that they have absolutely nothing to do with it, try to create them according to your own image, according to what you are created. Because the doctors, physicians, those international community that was coming in the store, they have certain issues. They have enormous issues. And that's called a tolerance. The tolerance is the distance which allows us to adjust ourselves for the issues of other people, which is completely normal. That's why I said I was polite. First, I was polite. I said I decline things politely. But these people do not understand the word polite. You see, and then it doesn't have anything to do with the science or anything else, but it's a plain violent, or I should say acts of violence, of brutality. You see, preferences are created mainly due to or according to predecessors or our genetics. Whatever we have inherited from our ancestors, and secondary to environments to which we are exposed. This also creates what are natural preferences, the physique and intelligence. It's what they are. It is what we afterwards transmit to environment and what we expect in return accordingly to our own self-created image. Everything else afterwards is a rape. Tolerance, if you like. Adjustability. And unfortunately, in often cases, perversion. It's okay. But up to what distance can we allow ourselves that perversion, that adjustability? In America, a big catalog is often the case when individuals are compelled to steer in pile of shit for a very long time, what have afterwards, as a result, marriages, regardless of age, race, or other abnormal factors. Normality has a huge price, and nowhere else more than in the United States of America. And I really, really hate it when it exceeds the borders of tolerant demands for acceptance of insanity. Like in my case, when I was utterly abducted and death threatened, driven insane under the razors of Bergen's doctors, maniacs. Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize. Don't you think that Mr. Nobel and those who have truly contributed to science would turn around today in their graves if they only knew with whom they were afterwards associated with, related to? The Nobel Prize sucks, stinks. It is unaffordable for decent human being.